Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is Motor Week.
Join us as we go out on a limb and pick the best midsize family utility. Pat Goss sheds light on what might be triggering sensitive sensors. Zach Maskell goes over the edge with supercars on a super street. And we'll slip behind the wheel of a new twist from McLaren, the 570 GT.
So come drive with us next.
Motor Week, television's original automotive magazine.
It doesn't look like the trend of truck and SUV sales outnumbering car sales will be ending anytime soon. And it's more than just a reaction to cheap gasoline. It's also about overall value and usefulness. And an ever-growing variety of family trucksters means there's a perfect package for just about everyone. But which one is the best fit for a modern family? Well, that's what we're about to find out.
It's 5-passenger midsize utilities that are our focus here, and we're joining our friends at Cars.com for this run-through of 5 of the segment's top sellers. A price cap of $45,000 left plenty of room for features, and we add a mix of 16 and 17 models, as well as traditional V6 and modern Turbo 4 powertrains. A quick drive north of Chicago got us into southern Wisconsin and away from urban sprawl, where we assembled our group. The dynamic-looking Ford Edge, the value-minded Hyundai Santa Fe Sport, the rugged and ready Jeep Grand Cherokee, the sleek and sophisticated Kia Sorento, and the luxury lounge on wheels Nissan Murano. As usual, we were joined by a local family to help us sort through these rides and offer a potential buyer's perspective. New wrinkle this time around, we also factored in the latest IIHS crash test results as well. You can find the full scoring breakdown at Cars.com, but here's how they stacked up. Much like the Olympics, finishing in last place here doesn't mean you're a loser. That explains 5th place being occupied by the highly popular Jeep Grand Cherokee. Despite its well-established true off-road credentials, a luxurious interior, and a strong V6, the GC also had a stiffer truck-like ride, only adequate comfort and storage space, as well as the highest price at $44,760.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee, as you might expect, has the most truck-like ride quality here, being a true SUV, which is great if that's what you're looking for. But if you want more of a modern car-like ride, you'd be better off with one of the crossovers here.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee remains true to its roots. It's got this V6 engine that just chews up the highway, and it's really fun to drive. However, if you're looking for refinement, you should look elsewhere.
Despite its stylish update for 17, the crossover Hyundai Santa Fe Sport fell to 4th here due to an interior short on comfort and a surprisingly harsh ride quality. Its 2-liter Turbo 4 makes decent power, but it is noisy, and the combined fuel economy rating is no better than the Cherokee's V6. However, not only did it make it under our price cap with all-wheel drive and the highest trim level available, but it was second least expensive in the test at $41,355.
The Hyundai was probably the most boring-looking vehicle of our group here, I think. It's got the most jelly bean look to it, which is very kind of middle-of-the-road vanilla. So that's unfortunate because there's a lot of things that it does well.
The Hyundai Santa Fe Sport, still a great value, just about every feature you could want for the money. Ride quality is a little bit choppy, and it doesn't have quite the refinement that most have here.
Our top 3 starts with the Kia Sorento. It shares the 2-liter Turbo 4 all-wheel drive powertrain and top crash score with the Santa Fe Sport. But its bigger size and more interior room, along with longer wheelbase for smoothing out the ride, moved it a notch higher. Not to mention the fact that it was also cheaper, as the least expensive ride in our test at $40,660.
The Kia Sorento, for me, is most like a minivan. It's got a big, spacious interior. Unfortunately, the steering and the feel of it, even the booming of it when you go over some rough roads, just did not make me feel good inside.
The Kia Sorento is arguably the best-looking vehicle in this bunch, both inside and out. Really appealing until you drive it, unfortunately. Ride quality is just kind of all over the place. There's just a lot of suspension lift, a lot of body motion that's going on, just really gets kind of chucked around by bumps that some of the others don't.
Our runner-up, the Ford Edge, was the only front-wheel driver in our test, yet at $44,175, its price came in second highest. So what do you get for all that money? Well, it appears the Edge follows the Honda strategy of not being great at any one thing, but really good at everything, offering good ride quality, space, tech features, and comfort.
The Ford Edge is a real nice redesign. Excellent ride quality, really good steering. Interior-wise, really nice materials, really first-rate multimedia system.
So the Edge was a very comfortable car when you sat in it. Controls, everything seemed to work very well. And then driving-wise, the car drove very, very well. It felt really nice to drive.
That leaves the Nissan Murano as our winner. It may not have been the roomiest crossover here, but for a mid-pack price of $44,070, you do get a strong 3.5-liter V6 engine with all-wheel drive, a smooth as silk ride, an interior environment that's pure luxury, and a high IIHS crash test score.
I love the Nissan Murano's styling. It really sets it apart from the rest of the pack. And thankfully, its V6 engine can back up those notice me looks with some power.
For the Murano, I just thought that for driving, because I do so much driving, that I felt it would be very comfortable. I just sat in it really nicely.
It doesn't look like there is any end in sight for strong sport and crossover utility sales, and all of the vehicles here are truly worthy of the strong sales numbers they see. As they say, to each his own. But as for our choice on which to own, it would be the Nissan Murano.
From Amelia Island, Florida to Pebble Beach, California, and just about every city and town in between, when it comes to car shows, America is easily the greatest country on earth. And for this one, we go over the edge with Zach Maskell as he drives past the road closed signs for a supercar, super cause.
Before we slide past roadblocks, we've got to make it there first. So we're fueling up less than an hour outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Well over 100 cars line this suburban neighborhood street, making you question if there's some kind of car chase movie being filmed.
So my boyfriend said we were going to breakfast, so we turned the corner and I see all these cars lined up. It's like absolutely amazing. Never seen anything like it before.
The lineup is for the annual Supercars on State Street car show benefiting the American Cancer Society. But before heading to the main event, these folks are catching up with new and old pals.
So it's people from all walks of life. It's people who have a shared interest in cars. And then to get together and have the social aspect of it. Everybody likes checking out the rides, but then having some free food, getting together just to chat with people and make new friends is one of the most important parts of it.
In addition, this is the 4th year Kevin has sought contributions from his friends for the American Brain Tumor Association. Last year, he brought in close to $3,000 and matched it. And the neighbors, they seem just fine with this breakfast gathering.
It's pretty exciting to come out and like to show my boys the other side of life and see the fast cars, the nice cars in the world.
Which car do you like better? Do you like the American Muscle or do you like the German sports car?
Well, that one looks a bit cooler than that one.
Aha, so we have an American fan. The winner is the Mustang. Good choice, bud. Bang! With a belly full of eggs and bacon, it was time to caravan up the highway and bring the noise to Harrisburg. With the police on our side, 400 vehicles paid to display their cars in front of the state capitol. In 2011, young Evan Ross wanted to find a unique way to comfort his friend whose mother died of breast cancer. Now, 6 years later, participants come in and pay a minimum of $40 that's donated to the American Cancer Society. This go-round, Supercars on State Street managed to raise $15,000 for a total of $40,000 since the event has started.
I know people come from all over the East Coast, and I think every year it grows and grows because everybody recognizes it's such a great cause. My mother passed away of cancer, so it's sort of near and dear to my heart.
The first year we only had State Street shut down, and we had about 60 cars show up. And it was supposed to be just a one-year done event. We surprised Sarah that year. She didn't know we were doing this for her, so she showed up. We had her show up at the end of the day, and we presented a check to her in memory of her mom.
Both Sarah and Evan can't thank everyone enough.
It's something that we're both really grateful to be able to do. I know that she enjoys seeing the community side of it, and so do I. And then for me, the car side of it is always my passion, so she loves it.
So many other people are going to get to be helped because of what I went through, and there's other people that maybe won't have to go through what I had to go through.
And everyone loved the cars. So for some people, a stock Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera just isn't quite enough. So the owner sent this to Underground Racing, where they strapped on 2 turbos. That made it 1,800 horsepower. And in a half mile, it does 221 miles per hour. Yes, please.
It's just a fantastic machine, and very fortunate to be able to drive it. And most people would never drive it on a day like this, but we turned the boost down, and we're having a little bit of fun and enjoying driving the car.
So, cheers to all who took their supercars out in the rain. And especially to Sarah and Evan for showing us all how to make memories make a real difference.
The daily grind sure takes a toll on our cars, but not to worry. Pat Goss is here with the info we need on a sensitive topic.
Most drivers wouldn't know a hub bearing from a windshield wiper, but hub bearings are an integral part of all vehicles, and they're a lot more complicated than they used to be. And we have Tom Taylor, our internet parts guru, to give us some tips. Tom, welcome back to Goss's Garage.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
Okay, what do you got for us here?
Well, like you said, the driver may not know they have a problem with their wheel hub bearing until a light comes on their dash, their ABS warning light or traction control light. Because there's electronics now in these hub bearings. It's not just a mechanical part. I've got several different examples of how they look. And the electronic part is the wheel speed sensor that the ABS system uses, the traction control system uses. This is sort of the original design here, where you have a ring that's spinning and a sensor that's monitoring the gaps in there to measure wheel speed. And then we have a version here where the wheel speed sensor is incorporated into the hub. Another version of that here. And then this one, there's a separate sensor like this, and the ring is actually incorporated into this gasket-like material. And the problems arise over time. You have road debris and bits of brake and junk builds up on this slightly magnetic ring, and it screws up the sensor signal, and that light goes on the dash. Over time, you get a mess like this where you have all this grit and grime, and if there's too much, you grease things too much, then that'll attract the crud. But another problem can be if rust builds up between the brake rotor and the hub surface. Rust actually takes up more space than the original material, sort of like when water freezes and turns into ice, it expands. And that can actually force the rotor out of alignment with the hub, and the driver will start complaining about the brake pedal pulsing, think their brake rotors are warped. Well, it's actually just that rust. The good news is sometimes you can repair these problems just by taking off the hub, cleaning off the surface, not with a giant magnet that'll wreck the sensor, but compressed air or soap and water, and cleaning off the rust built up on the hub surface that's making the rotor go out of whack.
Yeah, that works well. We, in the shop, we coat the hub surface behind the rotor and the surface of the rotor with anti-seize compound. And one of the things that we see a lot of are wheels like this one down here, where there's never been any kind of protection, no lubricant behind the wheel, and it just eats the alloy of the wheel into oblivion.
Yeah, if a dissimilar metals, aluminum against steel or something, that's instant corrosion.
Okay, well, Tom, I want to thank you very much. And if you have a question or comment, drop me a line right here at Motor Week.
Car companies are constantly enticing us with something new. So time now for a quick spin of some of their latest temptations.
The creative team at Kia has taken a big step forward with the all-new 2017 Kia Cadenza. Only on the market here since 2014, this surprisingly quick redesign has produced a premium sedan that's a good deal more sophisticated and elegant than before. Those changes become crystal clear at the front fascia with a new concave grille and sleek Z-gestured headlights. The more polished look glides all the way to the back, where Z'd LED taillights enhance the refined exterior. Still front-wheel drive, a revised 290 horsepower 3.3-liter V6 provides the go. Its silky smooth experience aided by a new 8-speed automatic.
Driving on the winding roads of Virginia, the first word that comes to my mind is solid. It's up 35% in terms of torsional rigidity, and it definitely shows. I can push this thing harder than I should, and it stays compliant and composed. There's a lot more grip here than I expect there to be. It's also really comfortable and just really quiet, definitely near the top of its segment in that aspect.
In the now more upscale cabin, the design lines are elongated, blending nicely into the door panels. It's very quiet in here and comfortable. The Cadenza cradles drivers in the available adjustable extended seat cushion, a feature our tall driver loved. The 2017 Kia Cadenza left us with a first impression that its rapid redesign was well worth it. It arrives at dealers later this fall with prices starting under $32,000. The 2017 Smart 4.2 Cabrio is hoping to step up the open-air experience for commuters on crowded city streets. We've been in the driver's seat of these tiny transporters numerous times before. This time, we put the top down for our first try of Smart's all-new third generation. American motorists have had their chance to maneuver these microcars beginning in 2008, but they've been seen on the slim streets of Europe since 1998.
If you've been to Europe, you've probably seen smart cars on the road. Today we're driving in Brooklyn, New York. It's a beautiful day, the kind of day you want to drive with the top down. Sure, it's 3 cylinders, but when I step on the gas, it's very responsive.
That comes from a new 89 horsepower turbocharged 900cc 3-cylinder engine. That may sound puny, but it's 19 more ponies than before. It easily provides more get up and go for passing in traffic and highway speeds. That's something you haven't heard us say the previous times we've been behind the wheel of this ultra compact cruiser. Another noticeable improvement is the optional automatic dual-clutch transmission. We spent a lot of time in a 4.2 with the previous herky-jerky auto manual gearbox. Our latest drive was far smoother through the frequent gear changes that come with city driving. When Mercedes-Benz and Swiss watchmaker Swatch teamed up to create something interesting for city life, there were lots of skeptics. But over time, smart cars have progressed into a viable driving option where space is at a premium. Now on sale in the U.S., the Smart 4.2 Coupe starts at about $14,700, Cabrio at $17,500. And we'll have more quick spin first driving impressions soon.
Despite producing a slew of cars that are both more attainable and more livable than ever, like the Sports Series 570S we track tested last spring, McLaren obviously still feels they have more work to do. Thus, this 570 GT has arrived. Now, it's the closest they've come yet to building a true grand touring machine. But in doing so, have they made it less of a McLaren? Well, let's tour together and find out.
McLaren, the British specialty purveyor of ultra-high-performance cars, is once again expanding their lineup with a new Sports Series model, this 2017 570 GT. And what appears at first glance to be the same is actually quite different. It does indeed share most of the 570S's body panels, but many have been tweaked slightly, and even the side sills have been cut down a little to make getting in and out easier. More noticeable is the new glass rear hatch opening to the side to reveal 7.8 cubic feet of leather-clad luggage space. A front trunk still remains as well. There are plenty of tie-downs for keeping your goods secure, and customized luggage that makes best use of the odd-shaped area. There's still room back here for that mid-mounted 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8, of course, with output the same as in the 570S at 562 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. Likewise, transmission duties are performed by the same 7-speed dual-clutch unit. It looks as radical as ever, with air intakes and downforce-inducing elements a big part of the design, as are minimal LED lights. There's plenty of supercar spec exposed carbon fiber and, of course, McLaren's signature dihedral doors. Attempting to fully earn the GT moniker means some noise-canceling materials have been added, the suspension has been softened, and the steering has a less hyperactive nature. Chassis-altering drive modes are still present, and don't worry, track mode is still included. And while this McLaren remains a true driver's car in every sense, giving you tremendous feel, that feel is vastly different than in the 570S. And at the risk of coming across as softies, we actually like the GT better than the S. Everything from road feel to power delivery is less severe, even when in track mode. Building cars with this much performance is truly impressive, but making that power attainable and this easy to live with is perhaps even more remarkable. Still, the 570 GT is more of a car you'd take to a summer home or on a coastal tour of some wineries rather than all-out track days. It's not all sunshine and roses, however. There is some noticeable turbo lag in normal driving situations, and the transmission is not fully on board with the new Mission, as it still likes to hold onto gears like it's on a track rather than exhibiting the typical quick upshift feel you might be looking for at this relaxed pace. The glass roof and accompanying structural changes have tacked on about 120 pounds of additional weight, so it won't quite match the 570S's 3.1 second 0 to 60 time. But trust us, you'll be fully enjoying your time inside this car and in no particular hurry to get to where you're going or to get out of the car once you get there. That's because the atmosphere inside is loads more inviting. There's a lot less exposed carbon fiber, now covered with more carpeting and soft-touch materials, as well as just an overall feel of being a real car and not a street version of a race car. Seats, though still firm, are much more comfortable, covered in more luxurious leather, and have far less aggressive bolstering. The glass roof is higher than the 570S's, so there's more headroom, and it allows a lot of light in, making it feel roomier still. But that light can be too much at times, as there's no shade for covering it. The central control area with minimal switches and a mostly touchscreen interface carries over directly from the 570S. Likewise, the highly configurable gauge panel carries straight over, nestled behind this gloriously control-free steering wheel. As for more mundane matters like petrol consumption, government fuel economy ratings are 16 city, 23 highway, and 19 combined, with an energy impact score of 17.3 barrels of oil consumed and 8 tons of CO2 emitted yearly. And if you're curious about price, well, the 570 GT's additional comfort and user-friendliness comes at a cost of $14,050 over a 570S for a modestly exotic sticker of $201,450. With the 2017 570 GT, McLaren continues to grow their lineup, now attractive to luxury-oriented high rollers as well as the track day faithful. And they continue to do it with cars more unique than comparable Ferraris or Lamborghinis. We understand if one might have a hard time deciding between the 570S and the new 570 GT. But trust us, driving it makes that decision easy.
that's our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, for more Motor Week, including daily news updates, podcasts, and even complete episodes, head on over to pbs.org/motorweek. And I hope you'll join us next time when we wedge ourselves into one fast Ford Focus RS and see if GMC's all-new Acadia delivers more from less. Till next time, I'm John Davis. We'll see you right here on Motor Week.
To learn more about Motor Week, television's original automotive magazine, visit pbs.org/motorweek. This program was produced by Maryland Public Television, which is solely responsible for its content.
This is Everyday Grammar. I'm Kaveh.
And I'm not Lucia.
Lucia, that's a pretty weird introduction. Are you trying to use double negatives?
Well, I would like to say that I'm not, unfortunately, using double negatives, but I am.
I can see that. Well then, can you tell our viewers what double negatives are?
Sure. There isn't no other way. A double negative is when you use two negative words in the same clause of a sentence.
There isn't no other way.
Today, we will talk about two types of double negatives. The first type is when two negative words form a weak positive statement.
We can't not go to sleep. Time is not unlimited.
The second type of double negative is when two negatives form a stronger negative. This typically happens in casual conversation.
I don't know nothing. I can't get no answers.
You should avoid this type of double negative in formal situations. You probably would not want to say, I don't know nothing, in a school paper.
I don't know nothing. I sometimes use that myself.
But now, Kaveh, you do know something. Something about double negatives. And that's not everyday grammar.